Media and Broadcasting, the industry standard for boxing media relations and play-by-play broadcasting. Also, check out www.abramsboxing.com, Abrams Boxing on YouTube, as well as M. Abrams Boxing on Twitter and Marc Abrams Boxing on Instagram. Hey, boxing fans out there. I'm Marc Abrams with our final show of 2022. I want to thank everyone who's joined us this year. We look forward to a big 2023. Again, like our last show, which got a lot of great feedback on. Got a collection of some interviews I did at the WBA convention recently in Orlando, Florida. I got undefeated super flyweight Andy Dominguez, who fights on December 21st in New York City. The real deal, Evander Holyfield, holding court with a little press conference, so to speak. Former two-division world champion Jessie Vargas and the number one ranked 130-pounder in the world by the WBA, Lamont Roach Jr., will join us. And later in the show, after the interview's done, we'll take a few minutes. I'll give out some awards and give out some awards, and we will do the fight of the year, fighter of the year, and whatnot. So let's start by talking with light flyweight and very popular kid in New York City named Andy Dominguez, and this is what it sounded like when we spoke. Here with world-ranked flyweight Andy Dominguez. We're here at the WBA convention in Orlando, Florida. What's happening?
Well, I'm just here for the WBA convention. You know, trying to stay in the business with the WBA.
Before we get into your next fight, what's it like? A lot of superstars of the past and current world champions are all here. What's it like? Rubbing on shoulders. Getting a chance to talk to some of these guys.
It's great. I mean, Nonito Nonaire is here. Christopher Diaz, Pitufo Diaz. I mean, there's a lot of world champions, past and present, and I mean, it's nice talking to them.
Who have you gotten a chance to talk to? Is anyone giving you any advice?
Nonito Nonaire, who was here? Christopher Diaz was here. I spoke to a lot. Who else? Literally, I just had his name, Panamanian dude. But yeah, it was just a lot of futures, past boxers. It's just great.
You're coming up another fight December 21st in New York City. Last time you fought in New York, you really brought the house. I mean, you had a terrific performance, loud crowd, loud ovation. What's that mean to you to have, that type of support? Even though you're world ranked, you've only had about eight fights now, and you have, like you said, terrific support already.
I mean, it feels great. I mean, this is my last fight was my first time fighting in New York, and it feels great. I mean, seeing my family there. It's been hard because I've been fighting in LA or Florida, in other places, other cities, and it feels great. I mean, and this will be my fifth fight, I think, fighting my fifth fight of the year. So I'm finishing strong.
And you're already world ranked, what, 12, 13?
I'm ranked number 13 from the WBA. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously not so much starting with this fight, but 2023 looks to be that year where, if we're talking this time next year, top 5, top 3, is that the way you think it could happen?
I mean, I'm trying to go for the first, I'm trying to look for the first spot. And, I mean, 2023, I feel it's going to be a great year.
112 pounds, I mean, do you look at the champions? Do you look at the guys ranked ahead of you, or you just take care of your own business and let the chips fall where they may?
I mean, I'm just going at my pace, and my time is gonna come. My time is gonna come, but I see great fighters, and I mean, I feel like I'm a great fighter too, and I will see myself in number one.
What do you want to say to the fans? Well, first of all, where do we find you on on the social media?
You can find me as Andy Dominguez _V, and I mean, what I have to say to my fans, Instagram and Facebook is Andy Dominguez, and I mean, to my fans, man, I appreciate the love. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it a lot, man. Thank you.
We'll see you on December 21st in New York City, and best of luck.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Light flyweight Andy Dominguez. still in the prospect stage yet. He's world ranked by the WBA. Good young kid, nice young man that I met. He think he's got roots in Vegas, New York, and Mexico. So he's growing from a pretty big fan base. So watch him fight on December 21st, live on Boxing Insider YouTube page. So I guess the fights will be up for a while if you are watching this show after December 21st. Like I said, it was the who's who of superstars at the WBA convention. And one of the biggest names actually in boxing, Evander, the real deal Holyfield, was in attendance. And, he was holding court with a few boxing reporters. And I was lucky enough to sneak in, got a couple questions in. And this is what the former champ, the real deal, the former 4-time heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield.
Yeah. So Andy Ruiz versus Alexander Usyk, how does that play out? Who wins?
Well, I don't know. That's the reason I like to see. The point of the battle is seeing something that you don't know.
Who would you say the fighter of the year was this year in boxing?
I would say heavyweight.
Usyk also?
No.
Divulge with you.
No. Huh? It's Fury. Tyson Fury. He beat everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of Tyson Fury, we're going to play a game called Legend versus New Age. Old school fighter, new school fighter, in their prime, who wins? First one, Tyson Fury versus Muhammad Ali.
I don't like to play that because the fact of the matter, I'm telling you, he probably looked up to Ali and all that. Ali is the guy that everybody wanted to be great just like he did. Because I was told that I could be like Ali, but if you ask Buster Douglas, he said it. You ask Tyson, he said it. You ask Lennox Lewis, he said it. You ask Riddick Bowe, he said it. Everybody wanted to be like Ali.
Evander, how would you fight a guy like Fury at 6'9"?
Well, you got to stay close. You got to stay close to him, and he's a good fighter, but I don't think the fighter today throw enough body punches and all that, and that may be the difference reason why they can't beat him.
Who would you favor in the Usyk versus Fury fight?
Huh?
Who would you favor in the Usyk versus Fury fight?
Well, it all depends on what fight they fight. I'm talking like, if Tyson Fury put all his weight on him, the chance that he's going to win. But if you let Usyk do what he want to do, it's hard to beat him because he got faster hands.
The Lauder last fight, he said he wanted to fight Joshua in Africa. What's your thoughts on a fight like that taking place in Africa?
Well, I think a Wilder fight is just going to be an exciting fight anyway because he can be hit and he can also hit you. And so, it just, which one connect first?
What about Davis versus Garcia in April 2023?
A lot of guys, they don't show enough boxing on TV anymore. And sometimes you get kind of lost with the name because they don't show it like they used to. Boxing was great when they showed boxing on television. They show all the fights on television, so you got a chance to know what was happening. It wasn't on, you think, because you seen the guy fight.
So who do you think is the best fighter in the world today?
I'm talking about, with me, I would say Tyson Fury. Till you beat him. I'm like, till you beat him. I think little guy, Tank Davis, and I'm talking, it's these guys that you see them fight, they win. They win all the time. They just win. I'm talking, they good fighters and all this, but who can you compare them to? Because the fact of the matter, you don't see no other guys.
There you have it. Evander, the real deal Holyfield, holding court at the WBA convention. Always a good interview. They broke us up right after that, so no one really missed anything. I also had a chance to catch up with the former welterweight and junior middleweight world champion Jessie Vargas, who is a very thoughtful guy to talk to. He's, he was thinking about running for office and, still an active fighter. A very engaging guy to speak with. So here's my brief conversation with the former 2-division world champion, still active and looking to go back down to welterweight, Jessie Vargas. Wrapping up the WBA convention, Jessie Vargas, former 2-division world champion. How'd everything go this week?
It went fantastic, thankfully. You know, we had a great week here celebrating the 100th anniversary of the WBA, and we're just very happy to be a part of the convention. Got to see a lot of the fans, got to be a part of the evening dinners and cocktails, which involved the fans, involved an award ceremony, you know, and numerous other things here in Orlando, Florida for the convention. It was a great time, great people, great atmosphere.
A lot of greats from yesterday, today, tomorrow. We're all here. Did you have was there a highlight for you this week?
I'd say being here present, being able to enjoy time and conversation with a lot of the fighters that we always admired and looked up to, such as Holyfield, Miguel Cotto, Winky Wright, Nonito Nair, the list goes on and on, but being able to talk with them, being able to recognize them for their achievements, being able to give back some time to our fans as well, you know, because thankfully we give the fans action, we give the fans entertainment, you know, at all costs, right? And at the end of the day, it's nice to see them thank us for it and remember and cherish those moments. You know, maybe you were at a party on when Manny Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather, but you remember exactly what happened that night. You know, you hung out with your family, with your friends, and you had a great time, and of course it was an entertaining fight, but those moments stay with you. You know, I'm using that fight as an example, and we appreciate the fact that you're able to share those moments with us as well, remember them, and being here to say hello and talk about it for a bit.
Last we saw you in the ring was in April, Madison Square Garden against Liam Smith. Not a fight I'm sure you want to remember. What's next for Jessie Vargas in the ring?
Well, I'll be coming back down to 147 pounds, going back to welterweight. That's my natural way. I feel like that's where you know, I'm not giving away any advantages, and you know, we'll puzzle something together, put something together, and you know, we'll come back strong. But of course, right now I'm taking some time off, relax, and focusing on some things that I've been wanting to do for like 8-9 years now. I'm glad I'm doing it now, and I'm looking forward to that for the time being. But when I come back, I'll definitely come back and sit here with you. Speaking of time away from the ring, I know you've been flirting with politics a little bit. What's your career looking like there in the political field? Well, you know, we want to be involved with our community. We want to be able to share what our people, what our people in our community think, you know, and how things should be changed, or how, you know, we can add a few things that can help benefit us, whether it be in one area or another. You know, at the end of the day, we need a voice, right? And I'm hoping that I can share some ideas of what the people want in our community. And I'm out of Las Vegas, and we'll start there, you know. But anything I can do to help, I mean, that's the reason why I started getting into it. You know, so I'm very passionate to be able to help somebody out, or a large community out, you know. And at the end of the day, no matter what anybody thinks, we all need to stick together. We all need to stick together because we are all benefiting from being here. We're all benefiting from this country. So let's find a way to continue to come together, right? Bring ideas together instead of always trying to argue, you know, whether it be here or there. We need to find ways to come together, and I think that's something that sometimes lacks. Not lacking, but sometimes lacks. And we need to understand that we need to be open to other people's ideas. That way we can come to a better result. How much did the crazy world of boxing politics, which, you know, you have to play the game a little bit, you know, maybe educate you, maybe help you understand certain ways about going about things, you know, for maybe the next part of your life? I'd say it definitely has helped. Yeah, it definitely has helped. Just being patient, right? Being able to understand. Just being patient. I think overall it teaches you a lot of patience to be in this game, right? And to be in the position that we get to be in as a world champion, right? So it definitely has helped, and I'm very thankful for what my amazing sport has given me, how it has helped me grow as a human being, as a person, and how it helps me just become more relatable, you know, in many more factors. What do you want to say to the fans in closing? Thank you for your support. It's always a pleasure seeing you all, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks, Jesse. Good luck. Thank you. Jessie Vargas, great interview, good guy. Obviously, you can tell his intelligence. You know, he's more than just a boxer. He wants to get back to his community in terms of, you know, the political stuff in Las Vegas. He's a good dude. I've met and hung out with him a whole bunch of times, and a very enlightening interview.
Finally, we have the number one ranked 130-pounder by the WBA, former world title challenger Lamont Roach. Roach, who famously or infamously in his thing, because he didn't get the win, challenged Jamel Herring for the world title earlier in his career. He's back for another shot at the world title, and this is his thoughts going into a possible world title shot. Here at the number one ranked 130-pound fighter by the WBA, Lamont Roach Jr., here at the WBA convention. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just handling business. These guys can run, but they can't hide.
So you're back as a mandatory. Obviously, you had the fight with Herring a couple of years back.
Yep.
Who are you looking to fight now for the title?
Well, obviously, I want to fight Hector Garcia, but he's fighting Gervonta Davis January 7th. So if we can't
in your
get
hometown,
that, in my hometown, in my hometown. So hopefully things go the way they should. It looks like they'll line up me versus the number 2 contender for the vacant title, because he isn't fighting his mandatory and he's not making a voluntary defense.
And I didn't look. Who is the number 2 contender?
His name is Qatar. He's from Georgia, the country of Georgia.
Republic.
Yep.
Have you kind of started doing a little background on him?
I've heard of him. Haven't really sat down and watched him, but he's supposed to be a guy with a lot of amateur background, but there's nothing I haven't seen before.
Obviously, when you fought Herring was a lot more established pro than Qatar is.
Yeah.
Well, beside that, if that fight does happen, what will be the difference this time when you bring home the gold?
Oh, I'll definitely be more experienced. I know what it takes to actually, get in there, be of championship level. I've went 12 rounds twice already, and I got what it takes. I just didn't unlock it in the Jamel Herring fight. Now that I have everything, I'm just putting it all together, and it'll be a good night for me.
What should say about you and your perseverance, working your way? You go down, you're probably mid top 10 or whatever. Now you work yourself back up. I think you beat Alvarado,
yeah.
Former world champion as well. And you were able to work yourself back up in the rankings. What you say about you and your perseverance?
That's just, like you said, that's just a test to my perseverance. Like, I know that I'm strong, I'm resilient, and I know that I'm championship world caliber championship guy. So we're just going to show everyone, shock the world. It might not be a shocker to other people, but I know for a fact that I'll be champion.
What do you want to say to the fans in closing?
Keep your eyes on me. I'm going to be a star.
Where do we find you on the social media?
You can search Lamont Roach Jr. That's on every platform. That's my name, or my handle is 101X.
There you have it. DC Zone, Lamont Roach Jr. looking to fight for a world title in the first quarter or so of 2023. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, actually, the fighter who's ranked number 2 is Otto Aranosian, who we've seen on Showbox a couple times. So him and Roach be a good fight. Roach is a really good boxer. He can be pretty offensive. Aranosian is a short guy who likes to come in and charge in. So that'd be a pretty good fight if he were to fight Aranosian. As Hector Garcia is moving up to fight Gervonta Davis on January the 7th, live on Showtime pay-per-view. So. Just get a couple of little notes here. I know January 31st, Kazuto Ioka is fighting Joshua Franco in a 115-pound elimination bout. That fight will be in Japan, as in their usual New Year's Eve. There's usually a big fight there. So we got Ioka taking on Joshua Franco. That should be interesting. And, when we come back, we're going to when we come back from the break, we're going to start breaking down the Gervonta Davis, Hector Garcia. It's a great card with Demetrius Andrade on the card. Boots Ennis against Karan Chakazian, and also who else on the card? Rashidi Ellis against Thomas Romaine. Romaine Villa. I don't know why I said Thomas Romaine. So that's going to be a great card to kick off the year. We're going to get some great guests. We'll be there fight week. And we'll get some outstanding interviews, much like we did in 2022. And speaking of that, much like 2022, I'm going to give Dimitri Bivol the fighter of the year. He definitely had a terrific year, beat Canelo Alvarez, and then coming back to beat Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. The fight of the year, in my opinion, it's a two-way tie. I'm going to, I'm not an official voter, so I can do ties. The Sebastian Fundora fight against Erickson Lubin was just an amazing slugfest. So I'm going to give that half a vote. And then I also was at the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight. And not only was that, if you want to give that half a fight of the year, that was the event of the year. 19,000 people packing Madison Square Garden on that night, April 30th in New York City. It was an amazing event. Just some things I'm looking for in 2023. I expect Jaron Ennis to hopefully take over the welterweight division. And in the same breath, hopefully we'll get Terrence Crawford taking on Errol Spence Jr. And the heavyweights, Tyson Fury and Usyk. Maybe we'll get Better Biev taking on Dimitri Bivol. Those are some of the biggest fights in the sport that we can, hopefully look for. Some outstanding prospects to look forward to. Also looking forward to see how Shakur Stevenson navigates himself around the lightweight division. Fights with certain guys on the top ranked side can get facilitated. Also at 140 pounds, Teofimo Lopez, who all of a sudden could be the mandatory for Regis Prograis. We'll see if that fight comes to fruition. Again, I'd like to thank everyone, all of my partners, WatchBoxing.tv, all the good people over there, everyone who's watched on whether it's been 15rounds.com or Abrams Boxing on YouTube, Abrams Boxing on Facebook. I'd like to thank everyone who's tuned in. I promise you, 2023, we're going to take it another step further. We're going to, maybe do some podcasts on site and stuff like that of the major fights. We're trying to do that down in Florida at the WBA convention. I thought they were going to have a room down there. I was told there was going to be a room down there to do some live podcasting and so forth, but that never came to fruition. We did the best we could. We got about 15 interviews. Watch them all on Abrams Boxing on YouTube. Again, love to thank everyone who's participated in the show, and see you in 2023. I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year with your families, and we will talk to you soon in 2023. I'm Marc Abrams for Abrams Boxing. We will see you in 2023.